October and September. Okay, thank you. Public comment.
Good evening. Yeah, Jillian Norris Santo. I live in Villanova, 424 Inverary Road. And my comment really concerns something that's coming up, the salt, the de-icing product that's going to be used on our streets. I realize it's just not simple salt any longer, but I would very much like the Environmental Advisory Council to inform us, inform the public. We're really in the dark about what the township plans, what it's going to put down, how much. I think they've already purchased their salt for the season. And now I've learned from Dan that it's part of a regional enterprise. I think we're really in the dark about all of this, and it's of great concern because our streams, Darby Creek, Little Darby Creek, Icing Creek, are really bearing the brunt. The data shows that the salt levels are too high, are high for aquatic life. And then the impact on our playgrounds, our soil, our streets. I mean, when the salt piles up and is piled up to be disposed of at the end of the season, that's another issue. Is it all dumped in one body of water? So I feel that this council and perhaps the township itself could come up with a good explanation and have it published in the Radnor News or maybe on the township's website so that all these questions are answered, because I think it's a major, comes up every season. Thank you.
Thank you. Very topical subject. In fact, we are addressing the over-salting of sidewalks and roads. Bess, can you talk to your contribution?
Well, will you say your name again? Jillian. So I think I hear you that we could do more to look into the township's approach to salting roads. We will have in the Radnor newsletter a guide for residential salt application. So that will be a one-page guide for residential homeowners, anyone who in far and wide. But so that will be available in December. But then I think we hear you that I think we could look into seeing what we can do with the township. Yeah. Right, Dan.
Yeah, I talked to Ricky Foster, the head of Public Works here, and yes, he does use rock salt on the roads. Salt brine is used occasionally when, I guess, less precipitation, but still risk of freezing exists. He's very proud that they can salt all the roads in the township within 2 hours. So they're all set up for this traditional way of treating ice. And but I think we're gonna talk to them about this. Not only for residents, as Bess mentioned, but also for the sake of the streams that you talked about, Ms. Norris. We actually are going to show data today of our October 2025 stream sampling. And unfortunately, the chloride and conductivity are not as low as I had hoped for a period of time when you don't salt. For the previous 6 to 8 months, there is salt still leaching into the streams. So, any other public comments? Okay. Yeah.
What do you use instead of salt?
What
would you recommend is used instead of salt?
Well, it comes down to amount for sodium chloride, rock salt. Certainly for residents, we could use far less than we're inclined to use. And calcium chloride is actually superior to sodium chloride because its heat of solution or solvation is quite high. So it immediately starts melting ice because when it dissolves into water, it generates heat, unlike sodium chloride. So Bess has published a residential guide on sidewalk and driveway salting. That's going to be in the winter Radnor News newsletter. For the township roads, I haven't researched that, and we're going to research that and talk with Public Works, Ricky Foster, more about that and just what the consequences of that are. I'm sure he's quite knowledgeable of ways of salting roads and de-icing, and just want to get to work with him on this, on getting his feedback.
Dan, I have a question.
Yeah.
What about the other townships? Have we seen any data
Right.
coming out of there?
Right, that's a very good point, and that's something we should research. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Melissa, we're all speaking up before I could introduce you. Melissa Zaffin is our new member,
Hello.
and give you a moment to
Okay, sure.
introduce yourself.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Melissa Zaffin. I've been in Radnor Township for probably close to 5 years now. I have 3 children who are all at Radnor L. My background is I have a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Studies from McGill University. I've been with J&J, Johnson & Johnson, for 15 years, working in medical and patient safety for that duration. And my interest with the council is to get more involved in environmental impact and public health, and finding ways where we can proactively implement action plans and support the community as best as we can. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited about having you with us. Your resume shows a lot of energy and directedness. That's great. Announcements. They're in your agenda. Self-explanatory, pretty much. We are promoting during this leaf collection period that you consider leaving your leaves on the ground, or mulching the leaves with your lawnmower, preferably an electric lawnmower. These are ways to really preserve the environment in terms of adding the leaves, nutrition back into the soil, and supporting the insect and other invertebrate life in the soil, as well as the microbial life. The bee population.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Does it matter how many leaves, like, the leaves are a couple inches, at least a few inches deep in my yard, and I just wonder, is that?
Right. What I did in my yard, which is surrounded by trees, is I mowed pretty much as often as I did during the peak grass growth season, which is weekly. So you just go out there and mulch at least weekly at the peak time of leaf fall, so you don't overwhelm the lawnmower and you don't throw down maybe partially mulched leaf litter. So it's a more effective way, I think, to do it in a gradual way. Ideally, as the leaves fall, you mulch. Bees are a concern. We're going to have a talk about bees in the spring as part of our EAC lecture with Mike Wheelbacher. But I just want to bring people's attention to the Bee Lab. It's a small federal department housed in the U.S. Geological Survey that keeps track of bee colonies across the country, and unfortunately showing that the colonies are collapsing due to environmental degradation and competition and contamination. There is strong support by Penn Environment, our local environmental advocacy group. It's been campaigning tirelessly to support the Bee Lab, which, especially in this current administration, may be facing a cutback in funding. Once again, I bring people's attention to the recloth recycling bin. It's allows you to bring your natural fabric clothes, cotton, wool, to the Radnor Memorial Park, located at 61 Matson Ford Road. This is a very big contribution, I think, to reducing waste and being able to reuse the cotton and wool that is entirely natural material. And once again, I remind folks who love to swim, fish, to not leave your fishing line and other tackle in the environment, either on ground or in the streams. Fishing line, although it appears innocuous, can get entangled in the fish and cause them to be suffocated. There's a tree canopy assessment that was completed for Delaware County in 2022. And it was published in May 2025, at least according to the website. And it's kind of encouraging in that the tree canopy assessment done by LiDAR and photo imagery from aerial drones is about 43% for Delaware County and just over 50% for our township. There was a slight 2% loss in overall tree canopy percentage from 2010 in Radnor Township. However, this loss is sizably less than other municipalities. So kudos to those who have been advocates for the trees. I'm sure our own Shade Tree Commission is involved, and nonprofits in the area. So thank you.
I have a question about the tree comment, the tree canopy thing. Didn't the, now I could be misremembering, but I thought when we had that presentation by the professor from Villanova, that she said 10 years ago we had a 60% canopy coverage.
Well, I'm just reading off the website that I cited here from.
I guess what I'm saying is that if she's correct, well, first of all, if my memory's correct, that would be one. And two, if my memory is correct with what she said, that's a big difference between a 12% decrease versus a 2% decrease.
Well, you're saying it was 60%?
That's my recollection.
In Radnor?
I thought that's what she said.
Okay. Well, who knows? We can source verify that and get back to you. This was the only source I found.
Dan, do we know what the goal, the target would be for that percentage?
I have no idea.
So maybe we can follow up on that.
It's, I'm sure, all interlocking. Well, Bess, you can address this.
Well, I think for comparison, I mean, I think South Philly has something like 12 to 15% versus, let's say, Manioc and Mount Airy, which is more like 30%. So I think the canopy is considered very robust. But I mean, there's always room to improve. But I mean, I think it's a very positive number. Yeah.
Recloth Earth, again, donate your clothing to prevent textiles and other household items from ending up in landfills. And this goes beyond just natural clothing materials, but also household items and toys, sporting goods, and even musical instruments. So you think of the recoverable material in certainly brass musical instruments and wooden ones as well. There are location bins, donation bins in Radnor Memorial Park and St. David's Episcopal Church and Whole Foods here in Lancaster. I got from Melissa an update on our own municipal energy conservation and electrification plans. In the last quarter ending November 30th, that's 3 months, we prevented the use of 143 gallons of gasoline for our fleet of electrical vehicles. I think we have 2 F-150 Lightnings and I think 2 other police vehicles that get charged at the 6 chargers at the Township building here. So this is a small step, but it's what we are wanting to do, which is use less fossil fuels for energy sources. Purchasing more electric vehicles.
Jim,
Yeah.
what about, there's still no charging stations for, residents.
Right. That,
So it's great that we're helping the police force, but the residents could be helped as well.
right. Carol, do you want to, let's see, who would we talk to? Well, we do have this Radnor comprehensive plan rolling out as part of Vision Radnor. And I can put you in touch with the agency that is managing getting feedback from residents on how we want to develop or maintain our township. And I'll email you that information. That'll be a starting point, and he could direct you perhaps to somebody in the municipality. Do you know anyone, Kathy, that we could talk to about charging stations in the township? Well, going to public charging stations, like there used to be one at the Radnor train station.
Was that run by SEPTA?
It was for the public. It was in the parking lot. I don't know.
So if you're asking about putting it on township property / community property?
Well, it would, yeah, that's a good question. It would probably start with public property like the parking lots.
Do that? Just my experience here.
Can you use your mic, please?
Voltage has to be significant
Right,
to come, and then buried, and then the charging stations themselves installed. So then it depends if you want a high speed or a low speed, if that's the right terms, and then what that would cost. So that would be the information you would need in order to propose that,
right,
put it on the agenda for the Board of Commissioners to vote on.
right.
If you want the commissioners to pay for it. If you're looking for something for like the Wayne Business Association to pay for it,
Mhm.
then that would, Chris Todd used to be the president. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, who was the president of WBA.
Right,
It's Kenny Kearns now.
Is it Kenny? Okay.
But, you know, so I now have my own charging station, but I had to drive out to King of Prussia.
Yeah.
If I wanted to do what they call them the superchargers.
Right.
Because there was none anywhere around here.
Right, so what I'm saying to you is, in order to have them installed, you have to have basically some serious electrification, upgrade in electrification,
mhm,
especially for the superchargers. And they're buried, the wiring is buried underground, so it would go from the transformer to where you want it to be. So those lines are buried underground, and then you have to have the chargers themselves. So it's not cheap, it's not
Right.
not doable. So if you want the township, that is the taxpayers, to burden that, to carry that burden of installing them and paying for them, then that's one solution that has to be then considered and voted on by the board for that expense. If you're looking to say you want them in the business district, then that would, you might want to go to the Wayne Business Association and see if they're willing to carry that expense.
Has this subject ever been brought up with
Well,
the
people have-
BOC?
Only because one of the commissioners has to go out to King of Prussia to charge his car. That's so sort of
Right.
like you. So that's sort of the extent. I mean,
Okay.
would we like to do it? I'm sure everyone would like to have it done. It's just the expense of it and what it requires.
Well, I think that, yeah, the first thing is I would say is make sure the public, there's sufficient interest from the public to do this. Because otherwise it's not going to be cost effective. So talking about feedback from the public is something that I'm new to that, but perhaps could be included with another survey we're proposing to be distributed in this winter or this spring.
That's a good idea. Let's figure out.
Right. I mean, the current political climate is not in favor of electric vehicles.
I think you mean the current federal.
Well, the
climate.
federal, yes.
I don't know that that would be true for local.
No, I also meant economic. There is a fallback in purchases of electric vehicles. And until the market adjusts its price for these expensive vehicles, I think it's only going to stay at a certain level of market size. And I know Tesla is coming out with a more affordable model of their EV. Okay.
Well, just so we don't leave this sort of hanging, so Carol, are you,
Yeah.
if you're interested in that, we have to find out what the cost would be, what the costs were, and also understand that when the township, sort of rightfully, not even sort of rightfully, puts things out to bid, there's a whole process that has to go through, and who's reliable, and union work, and that sort of thing. So that's an expense that I don't know that the Wayne Business Association would
Right.
necessarily have to
Well,
accede to.
we do have a handle on the cost of installing a charger right here in the municipal building, correct?
What I'm saying to you is, when it's any work done by the township has a whole process.
Yeah,
including certain requirements of any person who installs something, depending on the size of the business, if they have to be unionized, do they have a training a part of their business? And
Right.
so that
And
it's
these,
not the township who's installing it, it's probably a different expense, a different type of expense.
right, so if we were talking about a township-installed public charger, the considerations that went into installing the ones at the building here would be applicable, right? If the township were, let's say, in its parking lots, installed chargers, the same approvals and permissions and permits would be required as for putting here. So we could actually talk to one of the township engineers to get a cost estimate, and just talk to Steve. Okay.
Yeah, Kathy, I was just thinking, they would just duplicate what they did, and it could be in the parking lot out here, and it would just be available for the public versus just exclusively for the police officers.
Yeah, that's a consideration. Also, a consideration is, you can see just for tonight with 2 meetings, there's not that much parking left. So if you want it more accessible, hey, and I want everything in my ward, so have at it. I think we're the best. But, if you want it in a place, for example, in town where there's more people coming and going, those are the considerations. And if you want it in town, for example, the South Wayne parking lot is there, actually is electrified enough, and it might not be because it runs off of solar. So
Which parking lot?
South Wayne parking lot,
Oh,
that runs off of solar, that may not be strong enough in the current.
okay.
But I was also going to say, it may be good to just connect with who's running or leading the future Wayne vision that we're hearing about, because maybe they have plans for all of this.
Yes, that's
With the new
another,
apartments and
and
the
I can,
condos, and
you're
maybe
right,
they're
and I'll
already
put
putting something
Carol in touch with
Yeah.
him as well. The contractor is overseeing Vision Radnor.
Yeah.
And, okay, a lot of good information. Let's see, oh yes, and we are upgrading the roofs of this building and the Public Works building, and in fact, installing solar panels. And a notice to proceed will be issued to the solar contractor shortly. And as they submitted their permit applications recently. So things are moving ahead in actually installing solar panels on top of our municipal buildings. The buildings that are getting upgraded in terms of electrical systems, the Township building and again the Public Works building, includes installation of LED lighting, which is far more efficient than even fluorescent lighting. So the Township staff is reviewing a quote for the design of the LED upgrades for these buildings. LED street lights have been installed for all the street lights in the Township. And there are PICO rebates for installing these lights, and also energy savings. So the Township is looking at what those actually rebates and reduced utility bills will look like. Benchmarking is basically a way of assessing large buildings, commercial buildings, I think over 10,000 square feet, to see how efficient they are in using energy. And there's basically a questionnaire sent to building owners to share their utility records. And those energy consumption is compared to benchmark examples of buildings of the same size that are of different levels of efficiency. Unfortunately, funding is for this benchmarking program for our township through Delaware Valley Regional Public Commission, DVRPC, is being discontinued. So the benchmarking program may be put on ice and hopefully not ended altogether. Public education. Radnor Township EAC has a lecture series, and we have two coming up next year, January 25th. Steve Schreiner, 21st, excuse me, we'll be talking about beech tree leaf disease, thanks to Carol. And I signed up Mike Wheelbacher again to talk about the buzz about bees, pollinators in peril. So our bee population will be discussed, and that's on April 28th. Advertisements for those presentations will be posted on our websites and social media about a month beforehand. These presentations by Mike Wheelbacher are also co-sponsored by the Radnor Conservancy, so we're very grateful for their support. Bess, you had some interesting ideas in a November 16th email. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. So I think I saw that Sarah Weiner Cooper, who works with Larry Weiner with, is it Larry Weiner Associates? And they have a side arm of their business that's more geared towards education called Indall, and I'm afraid I don't have what that actually spells out, but they have a talk, or Sarah Weiner Cooper has a talk called Lawn to Meadow, A Light to Gradual Transition, and I think the idea was really to bring either Sarah Weiner Cooper or Larry Weiner in on a sort of panel discussion and panel, and a presentation on transforming lawnscapes and discussing also the Willistown Trust's Lose the Lawn program. I think that was back in 2023, and just understanding some of the lessons learned from that program. I believe Laura Luker talked a little bit about that from Birdtown USA, or Birdtown Radnor, within the last couple of months. That I think there are a handful of Lose the Lawn landscapes within Radnor Township, even though it's part of the Willistown Trust's program. I think it's within the Darby Creek watershed that program ran. So, so the idea was to, either in preparation for the native plant giveaway, just thinking about ways of whether it's rain gardens or transforming parts of lawn or creating meadows, just having some sort of educational program that's in conjunction with whether it's the Seed Library, the Radnor Conservancy, other EACs that are in northern Delaware County to cooperate and bring something that's a little bigger than, let's say, maybe one talk. It doesn't have to necessarily be bigger, but at least maybe more of a panel type discussion.
So it could be a single meeting that could go for 2 hours or so.
Right.
With
yes.
contributions or attendance by regional EACs.
Yeah, and I think that the Radnor Library has a wonderful location, like what's the name of the room down there? The Wilton room or the Walton. the space down there where they did the great backyard bird count talk and. So,
Gee, Bess, this is a great idea. You want to put together or an outline proposal?
See if we can do that. Okay, and whether
and,
this is for, I mean, I don't, whether there's enough time between now and March to do this, but, well, we can see.
'Cause
Or even April, but,
Because I think there'll be a lot of interest and motivation to do this.
okay.
It could actually get out of hand, because given the attendance at the Willistown Conservation Trust EAC lecture last year, was our most well-attended lecture on preserving the natural landscape. So there'll be a lot of interest, and this could be a big deal, especially if we contact other EACs.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure we're not duplicating efforts that have been done regionally elsewhere.
Right.
Okay, great ideas. Integrate everything. Okay. Now, were you still planning to contact a beekeeper, master beekeeper?
Oh, well, I
at
wanted
a
to-
lecture?
I wanted to talk with you about that, just seeing with Mike Wilbacher coming
Yeah.
to talk about Buzz About Bees, whether that would be
Okay,
just
okay,
maybe, or it could be next year, or,
right,
but I think it'd be pretty similar.
right. Okay, so we'll consider it maybe fall of 2026.
Okay.
Now, attendance at our EAC lectures in person has been low, but given the higher and very nice attendance at Mike Wilbacher's talk on fungi a week ago, this was a Zoom live-streamed lecture. I'm proposing that all EAC lectures from here on out be via Zoom and not also in person. So I'm
Dan,
asking,
are you tracking how many people are attending via Zoom?
well, this last one, yes, was 17 at Mike's. And that's about 8 times more than our average here. So would everyone be open to a vote on this matter now that we have a healthy quorum? Thank you, Sven.
Apologies for being late. That was not intended. But what happened to the idea that I think we discussed last time, that we move the location from here to the Radnor Library or the Education Center, because that might be a location where more people come because they just know that there are lectures.
What do you all think?
I thought, I don't know who proposed it, but I thought it was a pretty good idea because.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
And do we just need to advertise better for these lectures? Like on social media and whatnot?
Well, if we're getting good attendance via Zoom,
Do you think 17 is a good attendance? I mean,
Well, it's certainly better
we
than what
probably,
we've been
and
getting.
we could probably keep growing it, right? If we had a marketing plan for some of these lectures.
There were, according to Ian, there was about 35 signed up for Mike's fungi.
I
talk,
attended, it
and
was
half
great.
of that
Yeah.
actually attended. So in terms of the amount of work it'll take to set up these maybe monthly meetings at the library, I would personally feel I need to be convinced that it's worth the effort. You're feeling that there's kind of venue phobia about coming to the township building, or they're not sure what the setting is, or
I think that was the idea behind it all, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the idea that people, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but this is not all that friendly an environment for public talks. And the library is more intimate. The mainline school night house is a place people are familiar to go. There's plenty of parking as well. And maybe more centrally located for the township, where we're kind of on one edge of it here too. But anyway, I think the Zoom idea is fine. That should be Zoom at the very least with everything. The one other thing I would ask for, I sign up for lots of talks at, you know, the Historical Society, the Library Company, the League of Women Voters, they're all different things. So I often have 3 or 4 of them. And if, with every other agency, if I've signed up for it, there's a follow-up email with a link so I can watch it later.
Yes. We do post our EAC lectures on our website.
Yeah, well, that's too much work. So, you know, so I am not going to bother to do that because every other group that does a Zoom will follow up because you have my email. So an email can go out to everybody with a link of the recording, and then you're going to get more people to look at it.
Okay.
That's actually true. Also for our own session here, I always look for the email that I assume I get on the same day with a reminder that the link is there, but it's not. I think it's much more convenient to set it up with an invitation email and a reminder email. But I also believe this mainline school night, since it has already a club of fans that know the location, they know where to find it. If we could integrate it maybe into their program as well, then we get a higher attendance.
Okay, well, certainly Radnor Memorial Library has a distribution list, or somehow they're familiar with how to get the word out to the environmentally conscious, I'm sure. And we could talk to them, as well as mainline school night.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dan, maybe we just try that for the next lecture in January and then see how that goes, how the turnout is at that new location, and then make the decision if we move to Zoom.
Right. I mean, in the
Officially.
meantime, I think we could just get information from these locations
So
about
if we move the
having it.
January from here, it was scheduled to follow our meeting because I figured at least we'd have a few bodies.
Right.
But if we decide to move it, then are we better to do it earlier, like a 6 o'clock versus a 7? So then we should change the time.
No, I don't think so. We've debated about 6 versus 7, and I don't. People have said 7 is too late. If I want to get home, you know, and 6 is too early. So, yeah, we could talk about that more. But I think at this point we need to get information about the venues, whether it's there at Kreuzberg Center, Mainline School Night, or Radnor Memorial Library, and how they get the word out. Would they share their distribution lists with us?
The one other thing I would comment, it might be better to start it when it's not in the middle of the winter. So doing Zoom is probably a really great way to gather more people. You have some evidence that works, and then, you know, in March or April or something.
That's a good point.
Because then you could tell people about it beforehand as well, so that they're more prepared for that shift for those people that are paying attention. Thanks.
Then, do all the people that signed up for the planned giveaway get an invitation email? Or how do you actually get an email to our lecture? you have to go to the website and find it?
It's through our social media and our website. And there's a weekly newsletter that goes out through the township that also,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you ask Molly Gallagher to put it in her video? You know, the things around town thing?
Well, I did ask her that, and I didn't get a response. So I can try again. Because I know you asked that question before, Kathy. Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Melissa. So you would contact Radnor Memorial Library and Mainline School Night. That's swell. And I guess we would, I mean, I like the idea of having this happen in the spring because people are more mobile and would be willing to show up at the venue. So we could have a hybrid presentation of talks starting in the spring, but keep the January talk, which is by Steve Schreiner, that would be virtual, still virtual. Okay.
Okay, so so our meeting is on the same day, so would we,
Oh, that's a good point.
so that's, or we just change the date, maybe, I don't think he would care, I can move it either to Tuesday or
No,
Thursday.
let's keep it actually,
And it'll be on Zoom and in person.
No, we're saying, well, no, he just said Zoom.
Zoom,
well, but Carol reminded me that it's right after a meeting, so maybe hybrid? Have a hybrid presentation in January. Thank you for reminding us, because we'd have to bring our laptops or race home, one or the other. All right, great ideas, guys. Okay, Radnor News Community Newsletter for the winter issue. Bess?
well, so it really just will be looking for the sidewalk salt and driveway salting residential guide to salting, smart salting. That is also an environmental friendly tip on the website. So we pulled from that. And then we also have an announcement about the beech tree or the beech leaf disease that will be in there as well. So
Yeah, for January
Yeah.
21st. We're also looking at other publications to get the word out outside of the township media. One idea was Radnor Patch, and I talked to Thomas Frank, who's the account executive, and he said, quote unquote, paid marketing for the lecture, 1 month plan start at $1,500 total and can go up from there. So
You
I
don't have to do
think
that.
that price is a little out of our
If I may,
budget.
I put in stuff for Porch Fest on the patch,
Yes.
$10. We'll talk. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, and I responded to him. I said, we're a volunteer township organization, and we just need practically a one-line ad. And still
I think the
waiting.
reason yours is, when you asked him was more expensive, is someone actually picked up the phone. That would be my guess. If you just do it on
Yeah.
what the form they have online, it'll be cheaper.
Okay, all right. Because that would be a good way to get the word out, I
And
think.
we could exhaust other sources too, you know.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't understand what, because I said it would be a very short, maybe 2-line announcement. Okay.
I'm confused. I have posted events at the Radnor Friends meeting. sometimes a forum, it'll be the Christmas public sing, that kind of thing. No one's ever talked about money. I just post it, I've registered on it, they know who I am. I go to events,
Right.
and I put it on there. Nobody has said anything about money for any
No.
of that. I'm perplexed.
That's a religious institution, and
So
we're-
that's an exemption then,
yeah,
it's
that
apparently. Oh,
township may not be
who knew?
accorded
Okay.
that. I don't know. I also advertised through Jodine Mayberry, Mike Wheelbacher's talk on fungi for posting on the League of Women Voters Environmental Clearinghouse. So that will be continued for the January and April lectures and any other lectures. Collaboration with Lower Merion EAC in sharing dates of their environmental workshops and our EAC lectures. Unfortunately, Villa Paloma told me that Lower Merion does not plan any webinars for the fall and winter. But I did share our two lectures with Villa and others at the EAC in Lower Merion. Jenkins Arboretum and Gardens tomorrow has a wild turkey conservation in Pennsylvania presentation. It's a virtual presentation, November 20th at 7 p.m. And you can register on Eventbrite at the link that is in your agenda. And talking about salt, Jenkins Arboretum and Trout Unlimited are talking about salt, a winter water conundrum. So very much in the public discourse, talking about road salt. And this will be on December 18th. It'll be at, I believe it may be Zoom. It's Zoom, okay. And there's registration with Eventbrite in the agenda. Promoting native plants and sustainable landscapes. Sven and Bess came up with additional topics on information bits to get out to the public. Have you guys thought further about how to distribute this information?
I think our main platform is the Radnor Township magazine, or Bess? Yeah.
Okay.
Because the other one we tried, I forgot the name, they didn't have the space for us.
Suburban Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's certainly topics here that would be appropriate for winter or particularly spring. So it could be kind of a one-liner or guide with links to various relevant topics to property owners who want to wake up their lawns for the summer. Okay, so I'll look forward to that, guys. Thank you. So, fall stream water sampling. So we seem to be talking a lot about salt. Bess and I went out in October and sampled 22 streams in the Radnor Township that were selected by Willistown Conservation Trust. That was in October. The idea is to get a baseline, hopefully baseline level of salt in our streams at a time when it hasn't rained for several days and salt has not been applied for several months. And the results of that, I gave my colleagues an addendum that lists the results. And unfortunately, as shown by the graph that came with it at the very back of the handout, majority of these 22 samples had conductivity levels, which measures the amount of electrolyte in the water, were several times, some of them were several times more than what is supportable to life. Around 500 microsiemens per centimeter is normal, 500. And we were getting values from 700 up to almost 1,600 microsiemens per centimeter. So that's disappointing. There seems to be sodium chloride still leaching into our streams long after we apply salt in the winter. So that's a cumulative effect, winter to winter to winter, you're just adding more salt. And it's not getting washed out every year. So this is a warning, and this has been, its whole effort was put together by Stroud, I forget their last name, Stroud Center, and they are collecting salt content of streams in this whole area, southeast Pennsylvania. And the intent is to create a compelling set of data to show that something has to be done about over application of de-icers. Eco-friendly yard program, any updates?
And then before we go there, do we want to do something with these results?
I would like to do it in concert with the Willistown Conservation Trust and the Stroud Center to see what they're planning, because they, in their invitation to us to collect samples, they said that they would like us they would like to use the data to create a case to lobby municipalities in this area to try to cut back on salt application.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Melissa, I think.
I mean, I was just going to say, I think there are ways we can investigate it further, because if you look at where the rivers, the streams, are located, are in certain areas closer to, for instance, the Radnor High School or a highway or the highways.
That's right.
Specifically the Browns Run, right?
Yeah.
So where you're seeing the higher levels.
Yeah, Bess, you could talk about just where we found the highest levels.
So they're right, actually, near the Lancaster Route 30 exit and on-ramp with the Blue Route, so, and near the high school. So there are two sites right on the high school grounds, and then one site to the south of Lancaster Avenue, and then one a bit further down, maybe within a quarter to a half mile downstream, that is also very high. So whether that correlates with the interstate, Route 30, high school parking lots. So
Where they're salting maybe
yeah.
a lot more in those areas. Right. But I think there are maybe some immediate actions that we can take before the start of this winter potentially, and then to continue to partner with that foundation to see what we can do for the long term.
Yeah, what I noticed is driving behind one of these trucks that distributes the salts, they use a lot of salt. So now you can adjust the little circular thing at the back of the truck, how much salt is actually distributed per minute. And I think the easiest fix would be not to open the gates and adjust it in a way that you just reduce the salt usage per, let's say, time interval or whatever, how it is regulated. Because I just noticed when they come up and down my street, it's actually, I would say, 3 times the amount of salt what I think I would use myself for the driveway. I'm not salting in my driveway, of course, but It's a lot of salt that they use, and I think there must be a quick fix for that, just for this winter.
Yes, we're not Alaska, so we don't have ice on our roads lasting for days and weeks. It quickly dissipates and melted.
So who is responsible then? It's Ricky and Steve that most
Well,
likely
yes,
yeah?
Ricky with Public Works oversees the application of road salt on township roadways.
I can talk to him. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it was a stupid idea, but we will find out. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
Well,
not
no,
stupid.
you know, Sven, there are best practices in salt application. There are videos out there, Vermont, Minnesota, these states that are on northern latitudes, north of us, that do have this approach.
My
And
son
it
lives in
could-
Colorado, he tells me they don't use salt,
Yeah.
and they have a lot more than we have.
Really?
I mean, and it could just be a matter of like a retraining, to your point, of some.
Okay, Bess and anyone else, please share those videos with Sven so that he is informed. Thank you. Okay, so that would be Bess, Carol? Do you have any? Okay.
And Dan, as a follow-up, do we, at the next meeting, want to talk to, kind of present on some of the impacts of this in a little bit more detail in case the public has any concerns or wants to learn more about
Yeah.
the type of impact this has on the environment?
Do you want to do that?
Sure, I can do that.
Thank you. I don't mean to scare people away from giving ideas, but
Don't
they're
ask a question unless you want an assignment.
they're such good ideas, and usually the originator carries it out the best. Yeah, the impact on invertebrates. We with the Boy Scouts Wayne Camping Day in the summer, I went out with our former chair to collect invertebrates in the streams in Willows Park, and we're gratified to see that, in fact, we did get some invertebrates because they're very sensitive to salt. Okay. Seed Library at Radnor Memorial Library. Any updates, Carol?
Well, we delivered the grant, or I delivered the grant, they were thrilled. And the good news, bad news is they basically had no seeds left. So the seed library has been very popular. And with our second installment, they were going to be able to order more seeds. So they are most appreciative. So I would think if we want to access the library for lectures or whatever, that we would get priority based on our collaboration over the seed library.
Yes. I did donate seeds that I had bought and to the Radnor Memorial Library. And they were quite pleased, although there's a lot of black-eyed Susan seeds. So.
Are we going to be able to support them in 2026?
I don't see why not.
Good.
Okay, when did you deliver that approximately? Was that early October?
Yeah, it was like within the last month. I mean,
Yeah.
when Melissa got, it took a while to get the check, but once she had the check, I picked it up and delivered it
Okay.
right away. So I would say within the last month.
Okay. Garden Nature Club at local elementary schools. Bess?
I don't have an update tonight, but I should within the next 2 meetings. So,
Okay,
as we prepare for the spring.
great.
Yeah.
Maintenance of rain gardens in the township. I know We are waiting for funding to restore the 7 rain gardens at this building and at the McCrone Park. So we'll keep an eye out for that development as we go into 2026. Fenimore Pond algae overgrowth, same deal. We'll see how we do in getting funds for removing that overgrowth and perhaps dredging the sediment out of the pond. Gas leaf blower phase out. As you know, I've written a proposal for a partial ban for gas leaf blowers that would take place in the late spring and summer because of the noise and air pollution, which are pretty severe by these two-cycle engines. I've submitted it to Kathy Agnew, our Board of Commissioners liaison, as well as the EAC. And Kathy responded that we should prepare a presentation for the BOC. Oh, you sent a markup. Good, good. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Is what you're allowed, permitted to do, and how it should have to go.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, as this very moment, the Lower Merion Board of Commissioners is considering adopting a seasonal ordinance very similar to the one we've proposed on restricting the use of gas leaf blowers in the late spring and summer. So perhaps we'll find out this week what the outcome of their vote will be. New business municipal ordinance regarding grass height. We have been concerned that the Township enforces the International Property Maintenance Code, which specifies that weeds and plant growth other than cultivated flowers and gardens may be no taller than 12 inches. This constrains considerably the lawn to meadow idea, whereby you let native plants fill in open areas, grasses, and pollinating flowers. Laura Luker proposed at our meeting in August that we consider a We Conserve model for a natural landscape ordinance. This would be making a balance between weed ordinances and that would serve to combat problems associated with neglect and the desire to encourage landowners to embrace ecologically beneficial landscape practices. So we talked about this in August, and Sven, you had expressed some opinion about this idea.
Yeah, I expressed my opinion, and then you asked me to write something like an ordinance proposal or draft, which I did, and I sent it to you. And I think we discussed it also last time that we looked at it and got input about how to mow around the perimeter of a garden. And I think that is where we left the discussion on.
Yes, I'm sorry, I still don't see your proposed ordinance. If you could send it again.
I will send it again.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you. So I guess we're not ready to vote on this matter. I personally have hesitation about it because what keeps this naturalized pollinating flower and grass landscape from going to weeds without careful management by the landowner. And so I see a problem there, and also I see a problem in that we may have to specify which plant species would be deemed a naturalized landscape planting. So there could be violations, and how do you enforce it, or just violations due to neglect. So we'll consider your proposal again, Sven, for our December meeting. Thank you.
Thanks. Let's do that.
Sorry I didn't pick it up.
May I just add, let me just add that all ordinances are written by the township attorney.
They're
Yeah, for
written-
that, it's just a draft and the
Just an
proposal.
idea
that-
of things that should be in it. All ordinances are drafted by the town attorney.
Good.
Okay.
Right, but you still need an idea,
Yes.
right?
Just a quick question. Didn't, when we had
Wait,
the Willistown...
identify yourself, please.
Yeah, when we had the Willistown lecture here,
Yeah.
didn't, you know, they have grasses that have gone to natural in many places all over, you know, all over this area. I'm sure they've, well, not I'm sure, but wouldn't they have already wrestled with that?
It'd be good to consult them, yes.
So the whole discussion started that somebody stopped mowing his lawn. And then there was a complaint about the height of the grass. And the discussion that we had here in the EAC is now, what do you do about that? And the proposal that Dan made is to have an ordinance that has a structured Willistown Conservation Trust type of transition from a lawn to a meadow, so that it becomes biodiverse but also intentional. And my, let's say, opinion is that creates too much of a barrier for somebody that wants to convert his lawn into a meadow, although it's not a professional biodiverse meadow. In the end of the day, it's more biodiverse than a lawn. And this proposal that I made, which is
Well,
of course
wait,
not an...
what do you mean by barrier? Are we thinking on the same vein here, or
Yeah,
different?
I give you an example that I tried myself, because I asked for such a proposal to do a professional conversion, and it would have been on my lawn over $30,000. And I had a long discussion with 3 companies about how to do that, and I would say I just cut my lawn because it's too much money. Yeah. But of course, you could have the approach that you evolve over time, because since I stopped using a lawn care company, I of course now can count the number of flowers and also weeds that I have in my lawn. So it will of course continue over time. But this ordinance, which is not an ordinance, it's just a proposal about what to draft, that would define, if you want to stop cutting the lawn, how do you do that it looks intentional? So you have to have a perimeter around your let's say your property, so that people who walk by understand that's actually intentional, that the lawn is not further cut down to these 12 inches that we have in the ordinance.
Yeah. Which is something I've actually done on our lawn. We have 2 very large areas, but it's sectioned off.
Yes.
Like you were saying. I'll say I may check with Gretchen or from Willistown.
Right.
I can write to them if they have a proposal.
Yeah.
Do you,
Well,
okay,
I'm also wondering whether it may be too much of a hoop for homeowners, but similar to how you need to go to the Shade Tree Commission to either, plant trees, remove trees. I think whether, actually you don't need to go to the Shade Tree Commission to plant trees. Does that sound correct? But I'm wondering whether there's a way to register the fact that you have converted your lawn into a meadow so that the township is aware that this particular house, has the exception to the standard of, a shorter lawn, that they have a registered home that has a meadow that has this type of plants planted. Is that something that you have run into, or?
I would propose we discuss this ordinance proposal
Yeah, okay,
next time
all
and
right,
then see if there's a better way of doing it.
okay.
Yeah?
I'm basically doing this with a quarter of my lawn, just letting it go natural, and letting the leaves lie, and I put some trees in there, and hope succession takes over in my lifetime. Okay, we'll look forward to that, Sven. Now, I heard 2 volunteers for consulting the Willistown Conservation Trust, Sven and Jay. Jay Margolis was our public speaker. So,
I can write to their boards. I know the people there. Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Sven. Good. Okay. Ronamink Golf Club, clear cutting 9 acres for a temporary PGA broadcast center. They basically are pretty close to done in terms of clearing and preparing the land. They do have catchment basins for stormwater runoff, but the homes that would experience any mud flows are right there on the cleared 9 acres. So my hope is that a torrential rainfall will not cause problems for this community, which also abuts the stream, Darby Creek, which flows into our township and the Willows. Recycling and waste management in Radnor Township. Diana Pope, who's here tonight, or was here, she recommended a poster advertising October 25th Recycling Day, anything with a plug and paper shredding, be displayed at dumpsters in her apartment complex. Kathy, were you able to prepare a poster? Okay. Okay. Lower Merion Township has put in place a pilot curbside compost program. There's about 50 registered households who will receive compost containers from Mother Compost and Bennett Compost, and they will fill the containers with food scraps and other organic waste for weekly pickup at the curb. So we'll see how that catches on. It's a very limited participation at this point. The budget, we proposed $15,000 budget for 2026, and Kathy responded recently that she cannot promise that the whole amount will be rewarded, but she will advocate for our request. So that's all I have to say. And thank you for staying with us another 25 minutes. We had a very productive meeting. Ian, I think that's a wrap. Thank you. Oh, wait.